So I asked it, what got you through those things? And then he said two things. First thing he said is parents, and then the second thing he said God. And the second thing is what I want to focus on. But the first thing he said is parents. I said, how do you mean? He said his parents are both amputees. So his mom first lost her legs, and she was like, she wanted a pity party. She wanted everybody to pity her, and she didn't give the best of her life. And she didn't survive it anyway because she left the cell. I'd lost my legs and all, right? And he said he didn't want that for himself. So his dad too didn't recover from the fact that he lost his wife, and then he was diabetic and he ended up losing his legs to another. So he said he didn't want that for himself. He didn't want to go through the same thing his parents went through. So in a way, sort of, they were motivation to hear that even though this has happened to me, I'm still going to make the most of my life. And the second thing he said is, this is the part he can't entirely explain, but he knows that God came before for him, that it was strength. He can't understand where he got his strength to do things from. To this church, his pastor, they were always praying for him. They would always encourage him, and they'd also very for you, whatever you need. And then he said, she said he used to be a lustful man, very lustful man. But he realized that God, the Lord brought him out of it. And then he said the Lord could bring him out of this, God can bring him out of this too. So all the while he was going through those things, he knew God was with him. So he said he couldn't let God down, right? Because he knew that God is with me. And while I was saying all those, if I was lost in thought while I was saying all those things, right? And a scripture came to mind, which is Hebrews 13 and verse 5. The B part is my point of emphasis, but I read from the top. It says, let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have. For he has said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. Immediately, that was a scripture that came to mind, because I realized that it's not as though God said these things will not happen, but it's that in those things there is a succor, there is an anchor. So he says, I would never leave thee nor forsake you. So the man understood that although I'm going through this tribulation, but I'm not going through it alone. I know that there is somebody who has promised that he would never leave me nor forsake me. It's not that we will not go through these things. The God factor is not the absence of issues. The God factor is not the absence of challenges. Is that he's there with us in those challenges. It's the same scripture. Let me read it. It's the very same thing that was said to Joshua. And I'm going to show us this in Joshua chapter 1 and verse 5, where it says, again, the latter part is my point of emphasis, says that, so there shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of their life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. In other words, that you fight these battles, but I will not leave you nor forsake you. That there will be battles in life, but you know that God has promised he will never leave you nor forsake you.